short form content is it's the future. So whether it be TikTok, even if TikTok gets banned, it already happened in India and all those views just shifted to YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels. So I think for me, it's really about building a short form content machine.
Welcome back to Content in the Kitchen, where we gather around the kitchen table and chat about the latest in content marketing. Today we have a special guest, Chris Cunningham, the head of social marketing at ClickUp. Chris is on a mission to achieve an incredible milestone, 200 million organic impressions in a month. As a co-founder of ClickUp, Chris has been instrumental in growing the company into leading productivity and project management software platform. With a background that includes impressive roles at Cvent and Fast Followers, Chris brings a wealth of experience in innovative business and social media strategies. Join us as we dive into the strategies and insights that Chris has used to propel ClickUp to its current success and how he plans to reach this very ambitious social media goal. So grab your favorite cup and let's dive into the conversation with Chris. All right, let's get started. When you're not at your desk and you find yourself in the kitchen, what's your go-to dish to cook?
Funny you ask. I am not the best cook. My girlfriend helps a lot there. But my go-to dish is I like ground turkey. I think it's healthy, it's clean, it's very quick and very easy for me to make. So ground turkey is my go-to. And then maybe I'll put it with like tacos or whatever else. But that's just my easiest. I just made it before for lunch earlier. So it's definitely my go-to.
It's pretty safe too. Like you can't
mess it up.
And
I'm
you really
pretty bad.
can't try it out. You have to really try hard to overcook.
You got to be really bad. So I haven't done that yet. Thank goodness.
Okay, switching from ground turkey to ClickUp. So tell me more about your journey and what led you to co-found ClickUp.
Yeah. So straight out of college, I knew I wanted to do something in business and tech and fast moving and sales. And I joined a company called Cvent. That was my first job. And Cvent is like, it's like corporate events, right? All the parts of corporate events from planning to choosing your venues. And I had a blast doing that. I rose up really quickly. I became one of the youngest managers there. The company went public. A lot of success and I learned a lot. But during that time, I was always working with Zeb, the founder of ClickUp. And we were in college together. We were always doing something. We managed a rapper. We, had created this whole social media business. And he really ran with that and dropped out of school as I went to go work at Cvent. But even when I was off work, I was still helping him on that side with the agency at the time that we had. And from there, we saw a lot of success. And as I had gotten, all my shares and everything and really reached what I thought was my ceiling at Cvent, I wanted a new challenge. And even though I could have stayed there and probably became director and VP, I was just ready for something different, something fast-paced. I felt like they were moving slower as they had gotten public. And, a lot of my ideas had to go through different meetings and people. And I just wanted to run and do things. So I talked to Zeb and I was like, I want to move down to Charlotte and I want to join this agency with you full time. And I did. And we grew that agency and it was doing really well, making plenty of money. But then Zeb had a near-death experience and he was like, look, I don't want to be these guys who just grow social media. I want to be something much bigger than that. And that's when we decided to create a social media app. And this app was called Memory. And this is where the core team of really ClickUp first started. It wasn't ClickUp was our first mission. It was really this app called Memory. And what Memory was a Snapchat competitor. At the time, Snapchat was the hottest app out, but it would erase your memories in 7 seconds. They were all gone. And we saw that as a major flaw. The best thing you have in life is your memories. So we created this app. We really, really felt strongly about it. We thought we were going to be the next Zuckerberg and Tom from MySpace. We really felt that was our calling and our journey until one day we woke up and saw the news that Snapchat had created Snapchat Memories. And basically took our whole idea and just made it a section of Snapchat and we lost everything, all the money, everything invested. And that hurt our pride a lot, telling, you're posting on social media, you're telling everyone that you're going to build this successful social media app and it fails, in front of everyone. But I think that was really what we needed because then that's when we had the urgency and said, okay, we have one last shot at this. What are we going to do? And we had two options. One where we were going to create a Craigslist competitor. I forgot the name we were going to call it, but we had some name, basically what OfferUp and those tools came up to be. We were going to create our own version of that. I'm glad we didn't go that route. And the other ones we decided maybe to take on project management because we had built our own tool internally. Zeb really hated most project management tools. He hated the way they made you work a certain way. He hated that, most people would use different ones. So you'd have to log into this one to work with this person, another one to work with another person. And he just felt it didn't make sense and they weren't customizable enough. So even though the harder challenge was going into project management, because there's already so many companies who were very well off, who had a lot of employees, a lot of funding, and we were just 4 people, we decided to still go after that mission. And so in Palo Alto, we had moved from Charlotte to Palo Alto. We all lived in a house and we put everything we had into this. And that's where ClickUp kind of was born.
That's such an incredible journey and so many different pivots in that. And I feel like that's very relatable for anyone who's in marketing. You're constantly pivoting and having to move, whether it's from branding to messaging. Before we got on the show, you had mentioned something about achieving 200 million organic impressions in a month. I would assume there's a lot of pivots to kind of get to that. But can you break down what this goal is with 200 million organic impressions in a month?
Yeah, so 200 million is my goal. I haven't hit it yet. It's a major goal, but we just hit 75 million, which is still a pretty big stretch goal. So the goal is to get 50 first, and then as we kind of scale, then we'll readjust and, either put more, create more shows. So we hit 50 and then we really even just passed 75. So these HR videos are doing really, really well and getting an insane amount of impressions. And it's probably more than that if we count, someone showed me that the part 3 went viral in China on their version of YouTube. So there's way more. I don't even know what number we're fully at. I'll catch up soon. But I think the pivots we had was that at the beginning, we really didn't focus so much on TikTok. TikTok wasn't our major app. It wasn't a major play. And that no one in B2B really has that much. I mean, there's a little bit of Duolingo and Ryanair, but not really a B2B company has put a ton of focus into it, which I saw wide open opportunity because it's the only app where you can start something new and just get so many views. And it's a great place to test. And to me, short form content is it's the future. So whether it be TikTok, even if TikTok gets banned, it already happened in India and all those views just shifted to YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels. So I think for me, it's really about building a short form content machine. But yeah, we did have a lot of pivots. At one point, we were really focusing on Twitter, and that's where a lot of things were coming in for us and a lot of signups. Another time we were focusing on, Instagram and parts there. So I think now it's really TikTok first, and we're still doing a lot of things on Twitter and LinkedIn, but it's where the majority of our views come in. And then we can still repurpose something that does really well on TikTok to Instagram Reels, to Facebook Reels, to LinkedIn, to YouTube Shorts. So it works really well for us to put a lot of our time into that content.
Yeah, I mean, short form content, it's funny how before, in the very beginning of like the whole online world, everything was long form content and you actually wanted to read it and wanted to digest it and get all the information. And then slowly things got shorter and shorter and shorter. And then video took over, and then it was long video, then short video. And now even 60 seconds is like debatably long for some people to be able to watch a minute of a video. So short form is for sure the future. But why impressions? Out of all the metrics, why impressions?
Impressions is the easy one for track for now. It's not like we don't care about signups and things like that. But the way we see it is, if you just start off your content, and this is a big comment I've gotten or received from people as we've had this success is, what is it driving for signups? And it's like, if you just create content just tracking signups from the beginning, you'll never get these kind of views that I'm getting now. And you'll never get people talking about the brand like they are now. Yeah. So I think you start with that. And obviously I'm still working to figure out the best strategy to do that. But I'm not going to hinder all the hard work we've done by all of a sudden in my HR videos that are getting millions and millions of views and showing so many people every day what ClickUp is who didn't know who we are. I'm not going to start ruining it just by shoving ClickUp, in the content, as much as some people could like that or think that's the smartest play. But what I will do is I'll find cool ways to bring you back. Or this is top of funnel. I'll catch you middle of funnel. I'll catch you bottom of funnel. As long as you know about us, when you're making a decision, our goal is just to make sure that we're in the playing field when you're making a decision for project management. And so by having great content and by being out there, that'll help. But I still need to create great middle of funnel and great bottom of funnel content. But right now I'm trying to take this top of funnel as big as I can get. And as we're doing that, I'll work with the amazing members on my team to find better ways to incorporate the brand and incorporate proper call to actions, but without hindering the growth. Because right now we're on a path that no one's really accomplished in B2B, and I want to see that through.
Definitely. So let's break down strategy. How many videos are you producing? How much effort are you putting towards video versus content on the site? Like, where are all of your content efforts right now?
For me, it's mostly the short form video. I mean, we have an entire team. We have like a producer. It's very scrappy though. We have like a producer who kind of also films and edits. We have the main talent, Luke, who mostly is acting and scripting, but also will edit as well. Then we have Adam, who's the other guy you've seen. Luke is the guy in the blue polo, and Adam's the other bald, handsome looking gentleman who's dancing along in those videos. But he's also like an associate producer. He's editing. He came up with the idea itself in the beginning. So, and then we have Stormy, who kind of posts everything and is also in the writer's room. So us 5 will meet on Monday mornings, and we'll kind of go through for an hour and a half, 2 hours. We all bring ideas to the room. We all have thought about these ideas better than before. We bring our best ideas, and then we all present them to everyone, and we kind of riff on them as we're in the call. Like, oh, what if we did this and this? And at the end, we all vote, and you can't vote on your own. No ego.
Oh.
Doesn't matter if you get no votes at all. We all vote, and then the ones that get the most votes, we put into production. And then we shoot that week, and then we analyze at the end of the week. So that'll answer that question. That's like the process. And then as for how many we're creating, on the ClickUp page, I'd say we're posting like one a day. One a day is kind of our sweet spot. We tried doing 2 and 3, and I haven't seen that much advantage. I'd rather have a really good video and post once a day and just keep it consistent. But now we also have more channels, right? So we have ClickUp. We have ClickUp Comedy, where I'm testing new creators for funny stuff. We have ClickUp Memes, which is a meme page that's growing really well and hit almost 20 million impressions last month. We have a DIY page we're creating next month. We have a Man on the Street page. And Luke, the same talent, is also working on the Man on the Street. So they have in reality, they're creating enough for 2 or 3 videos a day, but we're doing them in different batches. So we'll go shoot on like a Wednesday at the office, and then maybe on like a Thursday, they'll go do Man on the Street. And then that'll give us enough content for the week. And then some Luke can just shoot at home really quickly and things like that. But it's very fast. It's a lot going on. But it really comes down to that writer's room and then analyzing at the end of the week and really riffing on things in the middle.
So how are all of you coming up with your own topic ideas?
We all have our own styles, our own things we like. Now, obviously, I'm coming in more with ideas to come off. Like right now, I want to ride this HR thing. I want to do it as long as people love it. And I'm not, so arrogant or, so to think that it won't last forever. I know that, this could get extinct. So we're always testing new ideas. So whereas we're always running as far as we can with things that are working really well, I'm always still testing new things. Like we have a corporate jargon series that's doing really well behind. It's not getting 15 million a video, but it's still getting 1 million or 2. So it's a solid one that maybe we can make it better and get it there. But we're all kind of looking at our own. So we'll look at a few that are successful. The formula we kind of do is we have A's. We call it the ABCD formula. A's are really good videos. One has already been successful. Something we've done that's hit at 600K or 700K plus, we'll find new versions of that. B's are kind of just like something maybe we've seen elsewhere, but we think we can do it in our own way. That's like a little different, like maybe something cool that's happening or just an idea that we've seen in content. C is riding a trend. So, we're project managers. Of course, that trend, we'll jump on those, but not too much. I don't want to be that brand that just depends on trends. And then D is my favorite. D's are just coming up with something completely random that might not even make sense, just something that no one else has done. And you'd be surprised how many of those turn into our A's, because I'm learning that the more kind of random and ridiculous you can be on social media, like just so eye-grabbing and different, that will grab you more attention.
So then what's the idea behind creating these different platforms different profiles with different themes? Is it all to get more brand awareness to the brand name? And then, of course, eventually end goal is conversions and signups and whatnot. But why you guys are scrappy? You're four or 5 people?
Yes.
Ish, which
like 4.5, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's small team, a lot of resources being put to this. Why spread it out across different profiles?
Yeah, because we think that you can only post so many times on ClickUp a day. And it's not that now this main team is working on the ClickUp, on the ClickUp channel. So just to, I guess, clear up any confusion, the writer's room is for the ClickUp channel. Now, sometimes we'll bring in the other creators for their channels, but it's a different team. So I have like some meme experts who are working on the meme page.
Nice.
I'm usually working with all of them along with the producer with each other page. But for ClickUp, which is where we think that'll get the most views, which is getting the most views, we put the most attention there. But let's say we have a down month on ClickUp. It's nice to have other pages that are slowly trending up. So these are all testing. We could decide to scrap them all and just focus on ClickUp. But right now, ClickUp has like a growth like this, and then maybe it'll come down and up like this. The memes have like a steady growth, and then we're going to keep taking bets. So we'll see if we can continue growing other pages, it's worth our investment because we're not spending that much overall when you look at how many impressions we're getting. So it works out really well. And the more we can get, the better. The more, attention I can take over, the more different spaces I can get on social. Why not go after it?
I think this is something that like you're just fully nailing it right now on how there's an idea, test it, put resources behind it, test it, especially if it's not a costly thing, especially if you have people who have expertise in it. Why not test it? So what would you tell a brand owner or a head of marketer who is like, I want to test this new outlet, but I don't know if we're going to have budget for it, or I don't know if I'm going to get approval for it. Like, you guys are clearly ready to go at all times to test things out and have the mentality, but most brands and departments are not like that. So do you have any advice for people who want to test many different outlets, but have that kind of halt of, I don't know if it's going to work?
The key is you never know if it's going to work, right? Like everything I'm working on today could be off tomorrow, social changes. But the advice I would give to anyone, and kind of what I did, is I just said, hey, look, I'm going to take a tiny bit of budget and work with this. It didn't just start like all like this. Mm-hmm. I brought it up in pieces. So I was like, let me just work with a creator, not full time. Let me just contract a creator and show you how much better he can do than what we've done historically on TikTok. And then I showed them some success. And we had a video that hit maybe, 5 million and 2 million. They're like, okay, this is really cool. Okay, now let me, let's bring him in more serious, and maybe let's bring in someone to help with him, and then we had a little more success. So I think you take steps and show success, because like everything good in marketing, whether it be an ad, whether it be a new social channel, whether it be a blog, a podcast, whatever, you need to show some success. No one's going to have success right out of the gate. And anyone thinking differently is just, really hurting themselves and the chances on taking risks. But when you look at everything good in life, everything good in that we talk about in here at B2B, ClickUp as a whole was a risk, right? Like, so I think luckily we're very forgiving in taking risk. As long as you take calculated risk, you do it scrappily, just like we did at the beginning of ClickUp. You do as scrappy as you can. You spend as least as possible, but still putting enough time and effort to get the outcome. And even if you know that, hey, I need to spend more to get the real outcome, but if I can show steps and things coming towards that success, then of course any good marketing leader is going to say, okay, I'll give you more budget. Like you're going up. This is trending in the right way. Let's keep it going. And of course you have numbers in mind. You have CPMs in mind. Mm-hmm. And you think, okay, this is a great cost for what we're getting. Let's keep it going. Let's get more. And I think that's kind of how I went about it, and how every team should do it.
Yeah, definitely. And kind of have a bit of an open mind, but also reporting. Reporting's everything. So how often are you looking at analytics? Is it on a weekly basis? And then also, how long are you tracking a piece of content to determine if it's actually going to be successful?
So I've tried almost every software out there, and honestly, none of them have worked properly for me, because they'll track the numbers, but then they won't have the proper integration with one of the platforms. And then they won't track the old growth. And maybe they'll miss if Instagram also shares it to Facebook. So what I do is I just do it the old school way, and we have a team, and they will sit and look at this. So I'm tracking every Friday. I do a weekly report. I write it to our COO and our CEO and the whole team. And, I tell them how well we're doing, whether it be good or bad. But I'm coming in and I have a tracker where they can come look at it. But I also break it down for them TLDR and to say, hey, this is what's really working well, doing great here. This is the bet that I'm making for next week. I show them that I'm taking bets. I show them how I'm thinking, and I show them what's working. And if the bet didn't work or if it didn't, but I show them the logic behind it and how much financial I'm putting into it, what success is coming out of it. But yeah, to answer your question, I'm tracking everything all the time, including like, when you have a video that hits 17 million views, of course your other videos go up, and that still counts. So we'll go back and count those too. So it's a little bit annoying to have to manually go back and say, okay, the video was here Monday, now it's here Friday, but it's well worth it because I really want to understand the residuals of an amazing video.
So then how are you tracking the path to conversion from that? Are you just mainly collecting impression data and seeing what the most successful videos are? Or are you able to track all the way to the conversion path and see where the signups are coming from?
I'm not even trying to track conversion at this moment. Like I do have a landing page that'll track if someone comes to TikTok and goes into our bio, and that's tracking, so that's doing really well. But we're really not so concerned. Like that's not our main thing right now. We will find ways to do it in there, but we feel like if we start pushing too much, it'll take away. So right now we're going after impressions, we're going after eyeballs. We believe very strongly in our middle of funnel and bottom, and our main goal is just to be known in the space and compete. Where people forget that ClickUp has been around a lot less time than most all the major competitors in the space. So for us, it's more just we want to be in there in battle. We know we have a better product. We're very confident in our pricing and what we're building and how fast we innovate and how fast we've been able to come into this space. So our goal is more to be seen. That's not to be said that we won't track. Like I still have data teams coming to me and showing where we can see rises and kind of timing with the videos, which is great. But I'm not being held to anything like that, which is kind of the beauty and why I think I'm winning. I think if I was being held to, do we get 20 signups or do we get 100 signups? I think I would have to change the content to get the signups higher. But then in the long run, who's to say it would actually be higher if I was just tracking on that? Because we don't know how many people are finding and then going to Google and coming in. So I think rather than harping over that and being like every other brand who's losing on B2B, I think we'd rather win and then figure out other ways to come back in and track perfectly and properly. Like I could do a giveaway tomorrow and do a cheesy thing and see exactly how many comes from that. But I think it's really just not our style. I think I'll build custom landing pages. I'll lean on the team to come with me on ways, but I think they're saying you keep building your thing and then we'll figure out how we want to perfectly track that coming in. But the board is also, I think they're also in value of see what 200 million impressions is versus just signups. Now, of course, obviously always care about signups. It's a huge part of ClickUp. There's other piece of content I'm creating for that.
Okay. So then that's a completely different kind of department and mindset then.
Not that it's not a different mindset. Like I care about it, but there's teams whose focus are going and tracking the signups, and I'm not going to spend my time doing it. My time is, I think what ClickUp does really well is I will spend doing time what I'm doing best, rather than me trying to do this and spin this plate of making amazing content that gets tons of views, and then also going and doing something I'm not good at. I'm not a pro at tracking content, but there is teams who are. So we'll leave that to them.
Know what you're good at and lean into that, basically.
Well, yeah, it really doesn't make sense for me to go do amazing things and then go spend hours and hours. I'm an expert. I'm studying every week content and how to get better content. There's other teams who study every week how to be the best at data and everything else. So I'll let them focus on that. But they're having a lot of fun, seeing these come in. There's always the beauty of like the sales teams coming to me and saying, "Oh my God, these get brought up on everything." Gartner brought up our videos last week on the call with them. HR said they're getting so many inbound applicants, they don't know what's going on because people want to work for the company making these videos. So there's always cool residuals like that. There's also the cool brand sentiment of seeing more people hop on and defend ClickUp and talk about ClickUp and the reshares. So I think that's a lot that you can't track, that we're also very, very stoked on because we want to be a cool brand. We know we have a good product. Being cool is a whole thing you can't really put a financial number on.
No, and the brand loyalty that comes from that is something that's going to last for a really long time. And it's only going to grow as you continue to do this, especially experimenting with like the different channels and different profiles and different themes of content. A lot of brands are so focused on just that in conversion goal that they completely miss out on this opportunity to build brand loyalty. And you guys are doing it for a B2B company. This is something that's like, this isn't a new car. This isn't something that's like,
water bottle.
Yeah, it's a project management tool. And you're able to actually have people sticking up for the brand. Like that's very impressive and something that a lot of marketers forget about when they're identifying a new strategy or working on new campaigns. That brand loyalty can exceed conversions in the long run.
I think also too much that people don't realize that you have to take a bet on something. Like you look at the podcast like we're doing here today, 5-6 years ago, if B2B companies would have went hard on creating a podcast, like who knows where they would have been if they would have stuck with it and got there. So I think I'm taking that similar bet on social media. I'm going to stick with it no matter what, because I really do feel like things are going there. We spend so much time there. And I think B2B is behind there. So I would love, I love being ahead of it and going to win, even though I still have a long way to go to be where I would like to be. It does feel good to take this bet that I feel strongly on early.
How do you stay motivated though? Because you guys are producing so much content and like I'm recording videos every single day. And some days I'm like, yeah, I'm loving this. Like this is where I'm supposed to be. This is awesome. And then other days it is a chore. Like how do you personally stay motivated to keep creating new content?
Maybe it'll change, but right now we're having so much fun. We're having so much fun in the writer's room. We're laughing. Look what we're doing. It's kind of ridiculous, right? We're bringing in like top songs from 90s, 2000s or whatever, then bringing it back into HR and making it fun. Yeah. Honestly, we're having too much fun to think about it yet. I'm sure like with everything, it can get boring. I'm sure if I was doing a podcast like you and interviewing every day, it would be tough. I think the key that I foresee maybe doing that is it's always changing, always finding, new things to dive into.
Mm-hmm.
It's very easy to get stuck on one type of content, having one win. I think that creating like, healthy, fun rewards for our team is really good too. Having something to work towards. Like right now, like we're celebrating, we hit 50 million. We're celebrating at 75. We're celebrating when we crossed 150,000 followers on TikTok. We're celebrating as we're beating these insane goals that seem so far away just 3 or 4 months ago. But at the same time, we're also like not happy because the way we've set these goals up are that they need to be consistent, right? So like my COO is very intelligent. He didn't give me a goal, just hit this number once, hit it for 3 months. We make this a machine. And if you hit it once, you had some good runs, but make this something that you hit consistently. And then as you do that, then I know what they'll do. They'll challenge me to go do it with long form. They'll challenge me to do it with written. And I welcome the challenge for all of it because I do want to be, I really want to win in this space. I really want to be known as someone who's really taken some risk and succeeded, but there is a lot more work to do that. I'm definitely not doing as good as I could be on long form. And I think also tying the product back in a cool way is another big challenge. So, my work is far from done. I've accomplished something cool. I'm enjoying the run. I'm enjoying talking, on these podcasts like this today, but I'm definitely still heads down and very, very focused on, what can come.
Are you finding any other types of content like being on the show today that's helping get new eyes on the brand, or is most of your time investment really focused on creating new content organically through the profiles? Like, have you found any other unique sources that have really been great to help hit that organic impression goal?
I think the building in public, I just started creating that, but like speaking this goal out loud. And I think that got me a lot of podcasts, and I've done a lot this week, a couple today. I think that has really helped get some attention because I'm being very open and showing the behind the scenes. So I will continue to do that and see. It's very new, so I can't, promise you there. I think we're adding some humor into our releases. We haven't launched it yet, but every week we do like a release video where it's like, hey, this is ClickUp 7.3, we released X, Y, and Z features this week, and now we're adding in some of our comedy into it. So I can get back to you on how that works. So I think we're definitely still testing to see how far this can go. I think there's more guerrilla marketing we can do with this that we haven't done yet. I just got off a meeting right before you and I jumped on speaking about ideas. Like, how else can we take this further to like some live events and things like that? So I'm seeing a lot more. I'm going to start my own podcast as well. Like, I think this is fun. Like, even with you, I spoke to Eric from Hatch earlier, did a podcast with him. And I think I learned so much from the questions being asked that really opened my eyes as well. So I'm enjoying not only that, your audience will see this and hopefully add value, because I can tell by the questions you're asking, you care for your audience to learn, and I care too. I want everyone to start having fun in B2B content. Mm-hmm. So I think this stuff really leads to some beautiful things, because at any time, if you're really giving value to the people that are listening or going to listen to your podcast, it wins. So I want to create more value-based content on top of just making people laugh.
Yeah, I mean, getting people to laugh is like that first touch point and kind of warms them up. And then to really keep them connected is that educational aspect. And in B2B, educational content is something that we're all used to. That's a familiar space. But lots of times brands just see it as another blog post. Let's just do another blog post and keep going through that. So really stoked to hear that you guys are coming with this innovative approach, testing lots of different things, and honestly just running with it. That's such a unique angle that we're not seeing from a lot of B2B brands these days.
I feel blessed. Like, I love that Zeb and Gaurav are, founder and then COO. I think I am very blessed to allow me to take these risks, because I am very, cognizant that not everyone is able to do this. But I do challenge people to start trying some on your own. There's a few things that I did rogue that, before I got approval, I just started testing it and, asked for forgiveness later. But I was like, look, I did this. I took back what we usually spend on an influencer, and I did this, and here's my success. And I really believe in it. I think if you come in with passion, if you come in with testing something, no one's ever going to be that mad at you for trying something new, especially in a space where everyone's already doing the same thing. So, I do challenge everyone to try something new, and don't be afraid, but you really do need to put your time into it. You can't just really halfway do anything and expect to see something. You can do it with a halfway budget, but you can't with halfway energy. You got to put all of it in there.
100%. I love that. You can do it with a halfway
budget. I want to quote
that. Yes, you should.
I don't know where that came from.
That was fantastic, because it's so true. I mean, If you start a project and you're like, okay, I'm being pulled in 1,000 different directions, sure, that's normal. That's every marketer right now. But if you finish something through and fully execute on it, even if you only have half the budget, that's where you're going to be able to see the most success. And even if
Exactly.
this doesn't happen, you're going to learn so quickly what didn't work and how to pivot from there.
And there's a lot of beauty in that too. There's a lot of beauty in learning and in moving on and saying no, right? It's like the essentialism. Like as long as you learn what not to work on, you're still getting closer to what you should.
100%. Well, as we wrap up, I would love to hear what your secret sauce is at the moment. What's your current strategy? Maybe a tool that you just discovered or a book that you just read that's like just changing things for you. What's your current secret sauce?
My secret sauce is a friend of mine that I found earlier that used to work at ClickUp, but he's so successful now, he's doing his own thing. Devin McPaul has found a way to really use AI to not create content. I'm actually kind of more not against, but like if you use AI too much to create your content, it's going to sound like everyone else. But Devin has found a way to use AI to kind of like pull the data points of what people are talking about and what's hot and what's doing well right now. And I'm just really plugging him in because he's doing it for me as we speak. And I haven't even fully seen all the results, but just from the early things he showed me, I'm like, wow, this saves a lot of research time. So I think that's like kind of the secret sauce that I've seen right now. Let me think, is there any other tools that I'm really... I think Vista Social has been really good for us in posting and pulling data. It's a much cheaper alternative to what's the Sprout Social that we were using.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Sometimes we still use that for like the responding inside, but there's like Dash Huts and all these really expensive tools. Whereas I think Vista Social has been a really good one that for like $40 a month does most of the things. So I'm very impressed with what they've done. And I'm definitely, anytime someone is really good, I'll speak their praises. And then always check out AppSumo. I think Noah Kangan does a great job of finding tools like, instead of using Calendly, I can use TidyCal and just pay one time and be done for life. And they really innovate. So those are the three things I think are really working. And look out for more. I think I'm trying to work with some other big creators to start a community where we talk about this in social more. Because I think a lot of people need to be seeing trends change so fast, as you know.
Yes.
So look out for that as well. But that's my main hacks.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing. Definitely keep me posted when you create that community. Happy to add it into the show notes. But once again, thank you so much for everything that you shared. This has been really helpful.
Yeah, Ashley, I had a lot of fun. Thank you.